Welcome to the Presidential Claim Record. This opening slide reflects a percentage-based breakdown of direct quotes from President Donald J. Trump, reviewed from April 1st, 2026 through April 24th, 2026, classified across four categories: false, unsupported, misleading, and supported. Now let's move to the scorecard. The left side of the scorecard reflects cumulative results from April 1st, 2026 through April 23rd, 2026, broken down by category. We now turn to the results of April 24th, 2026. As for false, one claim was identified. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool, President Trump stated, 2,500 feet, the length of the tallest building in the world. This claim is false. The Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool is commonly documented as approximately 2,029 feet long, and the tallest building in the world is the Burj Khalifa, which stands at 2,717 feet. As for unsupported, 6 claims were identified. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool project, President Trump stated, starting the final phase of renovation that was supposed to cost $301 million. This claim is unsupported. National Park Service project materials and publicly available documentation do not verify that the referenced work had a confirmed cost of $301 million. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding the same project, President Trump stated, and was instead done with the help of Secretary of the Interior Doug Burgum and his entire department, and a much better final result, $2 million in 1 week. This claim is unsupported. Public records and project information from the National Park Service do not document that the full scope of work described was completed for $2 million in 1 week. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding the timeline of the project, President Trump stated, and take 3 years. This claim is unsupported. National Park Service project materials and publicly available documentation do not verify that the referenced work carried a formally established 3-year timeline. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding prescription drug pricing, President Trump stated, where the United States paid the highest price in the world, and now they are paying the lowest. This claim is unsupported. International drug pricing comparisons from sources such as RAND and OECD have consistently found that U.S. prescription drug prices remain higher than prices in peer countries, particularly for brand name drugs, and available evidence does not verify that the United States moved from the highest to the lowest pricing position globally. On April 24th, 2026, at 6:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding prescription drug pricing reductions, President Trump stated, with a drop of 50, 60, 70, and even 80%. This claim is unsupported. White House materials and reporting on the recent prescription drug pricing agreements identify targeted reductions for specific drugs, including select Trump RX and manufacturer pricing commitments, but they do not verify system-wide prescription drug price drops of 50, 60, 70, or 80% across the United States. On April 24, 2026, at 5:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding Lafayette Park Fountains, President Trump stated, "My great honor to have funded this project and many others and helped." This claim is unsupported. Information from the National Park Service and the Trust for the National Mall indicates the project was coordinated through federal park management and nonprofit fundraising, and does not support personal funding by President Trump. As for misleading, one claim was identified. On April 24, 2026, at 5:17 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding Lafayette Park Fountains, President Trump stated, "The first time Lafayette Park Fountains, opposite the White House, have worked in decades." This claim is misleading. Information from the National Park Service and the Trust for the National Mall indicates the fountains experienced extended periods of disrepair and were not consistently operational. However, those sources do not document a continuous period of non-operation spanning multiple decades. As for supported, two claims were identified. On April 24, 2026, at 1:13 a.m. on Truth Social, regarding the Southern Poverty Law Center, President Trump stated, "The Southern Poverty Law Center, one of the greatest political scams in American history, has been charged with fraud." This claim is supported. On April 21, 2026, the United States Department of Justice announced that a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging the Southern Poverty Law Center with multiple counts, including wire fraud, false statements, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. On April 24, 2026, at 3:07 p.m. on Truth Social, regarding tariffs and a Supreme Court decision, President Trump stated, "People and companies that have taken advantage of our country for decades because of the horrible and ridiculous United States Supreme Court decision on tariffs are now supposed to be given back $159 billion. This claim is supported with context. The Supreme Court ruled that tariffs imposed under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act exceeded presidential authority, and reporting has estimated potential refund exposure at roughly $166 billion. However, the court did not itself set the $159 billion figure, and any refunds would depend on subsequent legal and administrative processes. This brings today's totals to 1 false, 6 unsupported, 1 misleading, and 2 supported. The cumulative totals are updated and reflected on the scorecard. This review is based on direct quotes from President Donald J. Trump, sourced from Truth Social, other major social media platforms, press conferences, interviews, official White House releases, transcripts, and other public statements. This review excludes intermediaries, representatives, news outlet, personalities, and secondhand interpretations. The words matter. The truth matters. The history matters.